My name is Rich Hanlon. I'm your Adirondack nature guide, and today I'm here to share a story with you about change, adversity, opportunity, and the forest ecosystem. It was a couple of weeks ago, right before Christmas time, there was a series of changes in the weather that adversely affected many of the mature trees on the forested hillside behind me. We had a nice blanket of snow on the ground the week before Christmas, and then things started to warm up. Our snow melted, the ground thawed and became saturated with water, and then the night of December 22nd into December 23rd, there was a severe storm that brought very strong winds across the Adirondack landscape, and it took a toll on our forest here. Let's take a walk down the trail and check out the devastation that it brought. So we start down the trail here. You'll notice the top of a big balsam fir tree right there. And looking from the beginning of the trail, I initially thought, well, one tree fell down in our woods. We'll have to cut this here so we can continue to use our trail, and that'll be it. Got to the next turn in the trail here, and very quickly noticed there are other trees. They're snapped at the base there, leaning all across the hillside here. And this was truly heartbreaking for me to see so many of these mature trees in our forest come crashing down all in one night. And as you can see, it's not just the one tree. There's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 sizable trees right here that came crashing down. And we continue on down the trail, and there's even more mayhem that this storm brought. This was kind of nice and level, but the entire root ball has been pulled up, and these trees are leaning here too. And here's a big white pine that it snapped half of it, and here it is laying here. Did a lot of maintenance to clear the trail, and you'll also notice there's all kinds of debris strewn all throughout the forest. Branches, needles, lichens, and we have a number of new brush piles. And we continue to go down towards the creek. There's even more devastation, more trees that got knocked over. This was a sizable tree. I liked this tree. I liked it a lot. Another one, another big branch from a white pine fell here. So unfortunately, the winds, they must have come from the direction of DeBar Mountain and pummeled this hillside from the bottom up, because all the trees kind of snapped and went that way, or bent and went that way. So unfortunately, this is the hillside of devastation. But fortunately, from this point on down the trail, down to the creek and beyond it, there's hardly any trees there are no trees that got knocked down, and not very much debris on the forest floor. Well, it's sad to see that so many of the big trees have fallen. The adverse effects of the warming and of the wind have also created opportunity for some members of the forest community. Let's take a walk down the trail a second time, and this time, let's see what opportunity we can notice in the wake of the adversity that has recently affected the forest. Now, before I point anything out, I want to give you an opportunity to see what you can notice about new opportunity that has been gifted to this forest in response to the adverse effects of the warming and of the wind. Consider the variables that trees need in order to survive and to thrive in a forest. Consider also the way that nutrients like nitrogen and others move through the forest ecosystems. And consider also what animals live in this forest and how these recent changes in their habitat may positively or negatively impact their lives. There are at least 3 signs of opportunity that I'm going to point out to you now. And the first is this beautiful young balsam fir right behind me here. This tree is probably 10 to 15 years old, and it's remained small in stature because it's been living in the understory of the forest, and it's been shaded out by the trees that have been living in the canopy. It's not the only one. There's another couple more balsam firs here, small ones, and there's some more balsam fir and a few red spruce over here that have been living beneath the shaded canopy. But now some of these larger trees right here have fallen. Look at all of this opening up here where there's light that can radiate down all the way to the forest floor and gift these youngsters with the opportunity that they need to reach for the light like they haven't been able to do before, so they can thrive and reach their full potential as trees in this forest. Second thing that I have noticed, a sign of opportunity, is I'm just reaching down at my feet here. Look at all these branches that I have picked up. Branches with needles and bud tips and lichens. There's branches and lichens and needles all throughout this forest here. And there's going to be this presents a very significant input of nitrogen and other nutrients that the soil of the forest needs in order to be productive for all of the trees and the plants that call this place home. And the third opportunity that I am noticing has to do with the debris, but also some of the larger debris. So let's check it out. We have a brush pile up there, brush pile over there. That's 2, 3 big brush piles, 4, 5, 6 big brush piles, all totally new. These are 6 sizable brush piles that were not here before the storm happened. And I'm thinking of an animal in particular, the snowshoe hare. Snowshoe hare is an animal that during the wintertime especially, it depends on the availability of buds and bark of balsam fir and other trees in the forest. And in many years, when there's not a whole lot of debris on the forest floor, the snow might come up to here, but the next branches might be all the way up here, so the snowshoe hare can't reach it. Now that we have all of this woody debris with a lot of branches with some really nice tips on the end of them, that's going to be really good foraging for our snowshoe hare neighbors. We have a buffet for them here. There is going to be, at least in this little corner of the Adirondacks, no shortage of winter food availability for the snowshoe hares. So that's 3 opportunities that I can see that have happened here in response to the adverse effects of the warming and of the wind from December 22nd to the 23rd. Again, it's opportunity for the up and coming trees that now have the light, availability to the light that they need to grow. It's opportunity for this massive nutrient input to the soil that makes up the forest floor. And it's opportunity for the snowshoe hares that now have relative ease of access to a whole buffet of vegetation to help get them through the winter time. Thanks for joining me for this walk on the trail today. Change, adversity, and opportunity really is one of life's great themes. And I wonder what experiences of change, adversity, and opportunity you can think of that have played an impact in your life's experience. Whether you're thinking of a personal experience or something else that you notice happening in a forest community near you. Well, thank you for joining me. I'll see you next time.